time is ticking down. We've mentioned it multiple times. The summit's coming up.
Time is ticking down. Is that with the summit, or is that just like, I feel like that's the vibe of 2026.
It's the vibe of everything, man. We're like both pushing 40 here. So it's the vibe of our lives, I think, is really what it is.
You're listening to The Freight Break on the BCS Freight Network with your hosts, Josh Haynes and Paul Gibson.
You're listening to The Freight Break. How's it going? It's been a minute.
It's been multiple minutes, Paul. We've been busy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. You know, it's my first time, you know, being at the BCS and actually doing a BCS. So it's been crazy, and there's a lot of new stuff that's going to be at this one and coming up that I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this new summit coming up, not only because it's in Kansas City and, you know, we've got great food, great atmosphere, and, you know, us, because, you know, we're from Kansas City, but it is a lot of really cool things coming up. We're going to talk about a lot of that today, how to capitalize your time there, some tips and tricks and things like that. However, I do got to mention, time is running out to register for this. April 28th and 29th is when it's going to be. It's not like there's some dude standing on the street handing tickets out, putting up AI images of himself saying that he's Jesus, giving tickets to the BCS Summit. So your time is running out.
Actually, both of those things exist separately. But anyway, we won't get into one of them. The other one is, if you comment on this post, whether it's a clip or the original episode, wherever you're seeing this right now, if you comment BCS KC 2026, we're going to give away 2 free tickets. And we will have who the winners are early next week. But anywhere you see this video right now, we will be giving away 2 free tickets if you comment BCS KC 2026. We'll pick 2 winners, and it could be you.
As well as you'll probably get a really nice picture with Paul if you come to the summit, possibly dripped out in some new attire. Hence, can't give him away, but Paul knows. You know, people are going to want to take pictures with you, man. Just live it up.
That makes it sound like I've got like some kind of like sick new like look or outfit or something like that. I don't know if that's quite what it is. I don't know if that's the correct way to build hype, but I guess it's not wrong.
It's not wrong. And we got a lot of cool things that's going to be at the summit. Speaking of cool things, our loaded and rolling party is going to be awesome. Paul, give us all the details, as well as some really cool things about it.
Yeah, so going to bring the energy down, which is kind of my trademark. Sad, you know. So a lot of people are familiar with Dalilah's law, right? And the situation that happened with the driver who was like basically shouldn't have had a license, and you know what happened and all of that. And her father has actually been going and being the one to push for the creation of Dalilah's law. He's been out there talking to different groups, going and making different visits and stuff like that. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is he's a truck driver. He's a truck driver, and he's got multiple other children. And if you're watching this, you probably work in transportation. And the thing with that is if you're not turning, you're not earning, right? So this guy is like essentially making a personal sacrifice and, you know, like doing what he can to support his family while also trying to support this bill to actually make the industry better. And there's a lot of people who are in super support of the law, you know, giving him a platform. Really helped him along his way. But one thing that hasn't really happened a lot is just support for them. And, you know, BCS, we're all about, you know, our network and people trying to make the industry a better place. We actually want to support the Coleman family directly. You know, like on a personal level with, you know, how they're doing back home, apart from, you know, the fight to make the industry better, because, you know, they deserve that. You know, we see the personal sacrifice they're making, and we want to help. So what we are going to do at the Loaded and Rolling Party is there's actually a a GoFundMe, and it's actually a fundraiser now for the Coleman family. And the cool part is they put up the campaign. Everything goes directly through them. The BCS, we don't actually touch anything. It is all straight to them to support their efforts to make, to fight this fight and make this happen, to give them a little bit more power and energy and just help them have a better time while they're out there, fighting this fight to make the industry better for all of us.
Yeah, me and you are both dads, so we know that overwhelming burden that's just constantly there of got to pay bills, got to be there for the family, got to do everything. And Dalilah's dad is really trying to do everything at once. So the fact that here at the BCS, we want to help lift that burden a little bit by just saying, hey, this family really needs help. This is how you can support them. We're not taking a dime of it. This is what you got to do. It's a really cool thing. And I think everyone giving just a little bit will really go a long way. So on top of that, there's going to be a lot of great things there, but it is going to be a really good thing. So you can have fun and you can support a really good family and get to see him. So,
yeah. And I mean, it's one of those things, there's a lot of things in the world that a lot of people would like to go fight for, or go take on or go actually do something about. But a lot of times, yeah, I mean, especially, as also Josh pointed out as a dad, in this economy, it's like that's a really tough thing to do, and it's super honorable, and to see him out there, like I said, the support that the industry has like given him in his like their fight for that is great. But yeah, I mean, at home, that's gotta take a toll too, and we want to make sure all around, people who are trying to take care of us are taken care of. Speaking of taken care of, sponsors. The podcast does not have a sponsor, but it could. If you wanted to do that, you could have your name here. There could be a 30-second commercial that pops up. We could even come make you a 30-second commercial, or we could just say some really nice things about you and make sure if you want to bring you up. So if you want, you can email sponsors at brokercarriersummit.com if that is something that might interest you. But yeah, so Josh, what are we talking about today?
So we are kind of narrowing it down. Time is ticking down. We've mentioned it multiple times. The summit's coming up.
Time is ticking down. Is that with the summit, or is that just like, I feel like that's the vibe of 2026.
It's the vibe of everything, man. We're like both pushing 40 here. So it's the vibe of our lives, I think, is really what it is. However, there are a lot of things that I think newcomers show up to the summit all the time. I saw a lot of them in Orlando and Indy the year before.
I've seen a lot of them on the attendee list.
See, there's so many of them that are new, or they've been there multiple times and maybe they're just not capitalizing their time. So I really kind of wanted to prod you, as well as just kind of have a conversation on, you've been to way more conferences than I have, and some of the things, you've been in the trucking industry way longer than I have. That's just because you're way older than I am, clearly.
That feels right. I'll give you that. That feels right. It feels right. It's just absolutely not true. So
you can see it on your face. You can just see it on your face.
You can see it, definitely. That's true. I only look older than Josh because I've been in the trucking industry significantly longer than Josh has.
Those extra years that just tick away. It's like a presidency at the end of their terms.
It's abnormal aging that it puts on us all.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was having a plan going into the summit. Clearly, there's a lot of really good sessions that are going to be going on. There's going to be after parties like we talked about. There's going to be other things like that, meeting up with people, lunches, so on and so forth. And a lot of the sessions are really good, all the way from AI to fraud prevention, so on and so forth. You name it, they've got it. But I wanted to point out that there is so much time still for people to meet with someone else. What are, I don't know, let's talk about some of your favorite things you would want to do, or maybe some of your top tips that you would have for someone new going to a conference. What's the first thing you would tell someone that's new going to a conference? What should they prepare for?
Dress up like a banana.
It's not a bad idea.
I mean, it's how I got this job.
It's true.
I mean, it's not untrue No, but maybe don't. Maybe don't. You know, but do in your own way, I guess. Really, that's kind of the thing. Is it's you gotta. Dan says it all the time. The way Dan says it is, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And Charles says the same thing all the time. And like, I personally would just say, like, don't be weird. You know, like, and by don't be weird, I guess I really mean just like be weird. You know, because you're there. You have something to add. You know, someone once said, like, you have to act like you belong in the room. And it's like, cool, you belong in the room. Why do you belong in the room? Well, because you were invited or you bought a ticket, and that should be enough. You're there. You want to learn? Then go learn.
There are a lot of people that show up to this conference specifically to just connect with other people. The sessions are, in the background of their mind. In the foreground is just meeting with those people and connecting. And we have had some people in the past jokingly say that they're not sure, and I think we've remedied that, as well as maybe just look at the badges and make sure you're good when you register. No pun intended, because we've had some issues. But there are people from carriers, brokers, other things like that you can see on their badges. So if you're really wanting to connect with a broker, one of my tips would be seek out the brokers. Obviously, look at the badges, find out who the brokers are. Maybe talk to someone. If you can't find a broker, talk to someone else and say, hey, I'm looking to connect with these. You know this, Paul. You've been in the industry long enough that almost everyone knows someone that you're trying to talk to. It's like people are very it's a very extended family is what it feels like. I've noticed that the most, I think, from the BCS summits is it feels like one of those really extended family reunions, where you like gather and everyone just knows everyone.
I mean, it's all like there's a limited degree when you're in these spaces in the industry, because like while it's so big and it spans the globe, but at the same time there's a limited degree of separation. If you met somebody and you want to know somebody, there's going to be some sort of steps between you and that person to get to know the person you're trying to get to know. Like it's I can't really think of like a scenario off the top of my head, but like I don't know, like someone, that someone knows me. You haven't met me, you get to meet me, and then but also if you're trying to meet like Dan, then now Dan is, you've met that person knows me, I know Dan.
To piggyback on that too, we send out and have sent out, I believe already, the attendee list for people to see who's going to be there. So a tip on that would be maybe start reaching out already. Start planning meetings with people already. Dude, LinkedIn, hit people up. You got the attendee list. You're going to see who's going to be there. And even if you don't have the attendee list, which you should, but if you don't, hit up LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm going to be at the summit. I'd love to connect with these people. Give a list of things. Be a little more prepared than just going there blindly. Obviously, if it's your first conference, second conference, something like that, there's some good that comes from being naive. Like you mentioned earlier, you still have to know how to walk into a room and feel like you should be in the room, but also transparency and being honest, it goes so far in this industry, and telling people that it's your first, second, third conference and this is what you're looking for, it's really going to go a long way. So connect with those people. That's something that I didn't want to forget in our conversation, is reach out to those people already. There's a lot of people I connect with on LinkedIn before the summits even start.
Yeah, if you go check out, Broker Carrier Summit on most of our socials and stuff, we even have one of those cool little frames where you can put your picture in it and it says like, I'm going to BCS. And there are, I'll forewarn you, if you are looking at the list, there are some people who do pre-planned meetings for almost the whole thing before they even get there. So there are some people that it's going to be easier to catch them now to be able to catch them there because they're maximizing their time, but that's, everybody's there for it. Like one of the things that, drew me here, like I came to work here during a terrible market environment. not just for transportation, just in general. You got ghost jobs out here that people are talking about, like an average of like 3 months of, like to find it plus to find a job, and like all this other stuff. And I took this job knowing like how sketchy the market was because it's growing. And I know it's growing because every time I go, almost everyone you talk to that walks away from this finds some kind of additional revenue, or they grow, or find something that's going to take whatever they're doing to the next level. And it comes strictly from the mentality of, yeah, this is a space to learn. This is a space to not know everything. If you go into BCS and pretend like you know all of it, or like you're some kind of hot shit, you're not going to get anything out of it. Like, you need to be willing to be like, hey, I don't know. Because if you don't know, you're going to, like, you have everything available to you to find out whatever that is.
Yeah, if you knew everything, why are you going to these? Like, why are you going to conferences in general, Like,
right. I guess maybe if you think you're like the answer to all of transportation's problem and you're there to offer it to everybody, but nobody is that. And if you go in there and act like that, yeah, you're going to have a bad time. Like, I'll probably make sure of it. But, it's a matter of like, everybody's there for the same reason, and not and the other cool thing is not everybody knows what you do, so don't be afraid to sit, like, not just look for other people, but like, don't be afraid to tell people what you do, what you're doing, what you got coming up, because while even then, it's networking. So it's like what that person needs right now might not be what it might be something that they need in 6 months. Or like when your product comes out in 6 months, they might be like, hit me up as soon as that's out. There's so many connections that we made, like forward and front. And I don't know the right word to say this, but like there is a lot of movement and employment within the industry. So someone also that you meet might end up somewhere else in a matter of a month or a matter of years. And then now all of a sudden you have a connection somewhere that, helps you out even more.
We've talked about it so much, meeting with people, scheduling things out. I also think you should definitely schedule out time for the sessions if that's, something that's very important on your list. Just because someone's going in there and they're not spending a lot of time in the sessions doesn't mean that you may not benefit from all the sessions. If you're really wanting to lean more into AI, if you're wanting to have more fraud prevention, so on and so forth, look at those sessions and plan your day out around those, as well as when you have some downtime. That's when you try to bring in those meetings that also tie into that. I really think people that are winning when they're going to these conferences already have their schedule ready before day one hits. And I don't think the meetings stop the moment the summit is over. I think the smart people are carrying that business through the following weeks, days, months, even years, and continue to build on that relationship. Then when the next summit comes up or another conference, they're again building onto that because they started prepared.
I think just the important thing is, like, this industry's rough. If you're new, it's rough. If you haven't been out there, if you haven't put yourself out there, it's not hard to meet people, but it's not easy either. And this, I would say, out of everywhere that I've been, the BCS is the easiest place to meet people. Not necessarily always even going to be like the people who are like, a godsend and going to solve all your problems. Sometimes, sure. But ultimately, like, I've never experienced a space where it's easier to meet people than the BCS. And I think so. If you're going, it's really just, I'm an introvert, believe it or not. And you got to just get out of your shell. You got to be, like they say, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I agree with everything you're saying. We're going to wrap it up because we, speaking of the summit, we have more work to do on the back end of this because it just never ends. This stuff comes together, not with magic, but with hard work. That felt like an ad, so I'm sorry about that. If you have not signed up for the summit, please do so. It's April 28th through the 29th. Again, It's going to be a really good thing. You're going to get a lot of connections, a lot of really good stuff you're going to walk away with, as well as you might be walking away with some free tickets. Again, tell us those details one more time, Paul.
If you comment on this or wherever you're seeing this, whether it's on this episode or below, comment BCS KC 2026 in the comments, wherever you're seeing this, and we will early next week pick someone last second to give away 2 free tickets to the Broker Carrier Summit, April 28th and 29th in Kansas City.
We're excited to see you guys there. Yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, just, it's like being on camera. When you're at the BCS, if you don't feel weird, you're probably not putting yourself out there enough. But yeah, no, it'll be a good time. And and next week, the episode will be even bigger because we are bringing back Road to the Summit.
It's like the summit, but the road to you guys know what it is.
We're getting there.
We'll see you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Freight Break on the BCS Freight Network. And now,